What a gorgeous fan that I'm using. I wonder why. Oh, wow.
Oh, that looks familiar. I might have cried in the middle of the night a few times painting that thing.
Oh, good. Good. I bet.
Actually, I didn't cry at the end of the Team Sapphira project until the project manager asked me right near the finale, "Are you okay?" And then I go,
"Oh, it's always the "Are you okay?" No.
Yeah. Hold me together until that.
Triggering.
100%. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real into the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay, and I'm drinking iced coffee because I'm gonna say something gay. That's all.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided, since we have a Pennsylvania artist here with us, I was going to wear a Pennsylvania Queens shirt, so I'm wearing my Alaska shirt.
Yeah.
And drinking some water.
And hi, I'm Revry, your Brazilian correspondent here on The Cup, and today I have some hot cocoa in my Central Park mug.
Because friends.
Because lovely time with friends.
Yes, of course. And she's Lana, our resident evil diva, here to give this tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because we know she loves her some tea. I don't know where Lana is. I don't know what she's drinking. But I know she has a cup mug.
She has water.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone. You can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description below, and we do ship domestically within North America and internationally, so there are no excuses. Unless you're in Brazil, we're still really trying. But you don't really care about us here today because we've got an extra special guest. I don't even know who he is. We found him somewhere. He stumbled in from some universe somewhere. But who are you?
Is this Henlo Bullfrog? Why, yes, it is. And
Yay.
I'm drinking old coffee in a mug with me and my partner's drag personas on it.
Awesome.
I love it. It's so cute.
And I think Lana went to the same universe that I just came from because there has to always be someone in that to keep the pocket dimension open. So we had to switch
100%. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just as soon as the cameras came on and we started rolling, she had to drop out so that you could actually be on the pod.
Yeah.
Oh no, she might be back.
And she transported back.
There she is.
Who did you sacrifice?
A lot of people.
Yes.
Somebody check on Tracy.
Okay, improv episode.
Oh yeah, she's so sorry.
Oh no,
Not Tracy.
Sorry.
Inhabiting the pocket dimension.
I heard everything. I heard, and I was sitting here. I can see you. You couldn't see me. I was like, "What do you mean you're doing my intro? I'm right here." But apparently, nobody saw me. So weird. Such a weird day.
Sorry, Lana.
It's okay. You know what, Henlo? I think it's you. I think you have an aura about yourself.
The energy was so chaotic already, and it just added.
I believe the energy was too strong with the two of us together that it is really taking us. Yeah, it's okay. But let's get on with this.
Anyone who's watching and listening, if there's technical difficulties, we're so sorry. It's going to keep happening.
Yep.
Who knows if this will even make it on the internet? Let's be real. Like if this made it on the channel with no other problems, be lucky you're watching this episode.
You're blessed.
You're welcome.
If you are, subscribe, like, share, check out all the King of Drag coverage we're doing. Watch it Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern on Revry. Go check out our interview we just dropped today, if you're watching this, with Henlo's drag mom, Sapphira Cristál, where we talked to her about her and also Henlo. And it was a grand old time with her, and it's going to be a beautiful time here with you. Henlo!
Hello!
We're so happy to have you here, baby.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. And we're going to talk to you about your favorite subject, probably. You.
Oh yes. Right. I feel like my favorite subject is art. I know the script for that. Henlo, I'm still. It's 7-8 years later. I'm still figuring out the script for him. But
Love that.
So yesterday we did have a lovely chat with your drag mother, and she did tell us a little bit about how you became a Cristál. But I would love to know the story about Henlo Bullfrog. Like, how did you come up with the name and the character of Henlo?
okay, so just a warning. I know we can swear on this podcast.
You
Okay.
sure
Just
can.
not the C word.
Okay.
The 4-letter C word. That's
Yes.
everything
Got
else
it.
is
Further into the recording, you could be a little looser at the start. If you could, yeah.
I ask this because I got in light trouble for swearing on a radio show explaining Henlo's history.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Go for
Heard
it.
about that.
Go nuts.
Go for it, and if I need to edit it, I can.
Okay. It's I don't think it's that bad. So I actually started out trying to do queen drag because I'm not sure if you're familiar with Skin Wars Fresh Paint, but I was actually on a reality competition which I won about 10 years ago, which was body painting.
A question about it later.
All right. I was kind of getting ready in case there was a Skin Wars season 4 because I was on the spinoff and I did well. And I'm like, okay, let me train up. I'm going to study every major challenge that they do on the main Skin Wars and do it. So I have practice. So I have all this experience body painting. So that way, I'm set up for success. And one of the challenges they have every season is painting a drag queen. So I started to seek out drag artists in Philadelphia and work with them, most notably the Bearded Ladies Cabaret, which is where I started working with drag artists. But I also realized I needed to paint a really good looking drag face. So I started taking drag classes. And in that, I actually started out trying to do queen drag. My name was Crystal Caverns. She was an earth elemental. Surprise, surprise. I'm working in the fantasy world again. But there was something about it that I was having fun, but I was holding myself back. I was really I was trying to be the best at things that I was already kind of socialized into being, and that wasn't quite what I was looking for. So then on a lark with some of the other people in the drag class one night, I got into king drag, and suddenly like I'm jumping around, I'm acting real weird. I'm like, oh yeah, like I live in the trash can in the alleyway outside. And just something started coming out in me that I was having a lot more fun. I was having a lot more fun as a king. And so in that moment, I named him Bullfrog because in the 70s, my father came very close to legally changing his name to the word Bullfrog, just the one word, a mononym like Madonna. He wound up not doing this because his friends kept calling him bullshit. This is where they stopped me on the radio. And they said, please don't say that.
And that's mild around here.
Right. So that was where he's his father's son. I contour according to my father's bone structure still. Henlo Bullfrog is Joy Tawny's changeling twin brother who was stolen by the fairies of earth and dropped in a frog pond for 30 years, who then crawled back into the human world through a mausoleum in West Philadelphia. And I always kind of play him that way. It doesn't really matter if you know the whole backstory. He's got a lot deeper lore than that. But so then after a few outings as him, I'm still getting used to the character. He's just the one name. A friend of mine, Jack Savage, says on just comments on one of my posts of this face, Henlo Bullfrog, because Henlo is a meme for about 5 seconds, a cutesy alternative to saying hello.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's it. That's the name. And so I also joke that his middle name is fucking, and it is canonically. So if you want to say my full name, it is Henlo Fucking Bullfrog Cristál. And I just need everyone to know that my full name. You can call me Henlo Bullfrog, but if you're going to call me Henlo Bullfrog Cristál, you might as well add the fucking.
Yes.
So,
I love it. So he was kind of already in there. It just needed to find a way to come out.
yeah, and he's just a pile of in jokes that keep building on each other. I'm like, well, I guess this works. Like we'll just keep it in. Like it's canon now. So
So you are one of the stupidest humans I've ever encountered in the best way.
I like to think I try to be very smart about being stupid. Like I can change multitudes.
No, I absolutely love it.
Highest compliment.
No, that's the highest compliment for me because I'm that way too. So like I get it. Yeah,
it's a response to the world, right? Like it's like clowning in that in a world that feels like we have very little sense of control and feels fundamentally absurd, I need to kind of fight that by creating my own absurdity in ways that feel more controllable and more pleasant than the absurd, uncontrollable things in the rest of the world right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I see you smiling, David.
I am in complete awe of that entire story. I'm like living. I want to hear more of the story, of more of the lore, because I'm just like, wow, your brain, amazing. Okay, that wasn't my question, but okay. Who are your biggest male pop culture influences?
Roger Rabbit.
Her.
Oh, that makes sense.
Fox Mulder. Again, it makes a lot of sense as you start to see it. Okay, so there's a certain character archetype that is like basically the Henlo Bullfrog of any fictional world, and you can very easily identify him because he doesn't live in the same world that everyone else lives in. He lives in his own world. He adds chaos to the plot. He is unhinged, which I know y'all noticed that I used that word to refer to myself. So another great example of that, Ice King from Adventure Time. He's the Henlo Bullfrog of his world. Or Tingle from Legend of Zelda. Like these characters. Also, let me point out, Tingle, he is an adult man in his 30s who, with the first time you ever meet him, he immediately tells you about fairies and his dad, which are like two things that just both Joy and Henlo will immediately, the first things I'll probably say to you are about like Henlo's Fae origins, and also, have I mentioned how much I love my dad? Like, so he's my real life male, positive influence.
I love that. I love that.
Well, I want to know everything with your origins with King of Drag. How did you feel when you first heard about it? What made you apply? How did you feel when you got accepted?
I think I heard about it through the internet, like most people. It was really cool, but I think in the many years that drag kings have been proving our excellence and proving, even in the face of some disagreement, that we deserve a place at the table, there's always this hesitation. Are we going to be represented well? Is it going to be fair? Is it going to be another exploitative show? Of course, I've worked with all these different clients from all these different shows, and you hear stories. You hear stories about the experience after the show. You hear stories about the experience on the show, and it's not always a positive one. I had a very positive experience on Skin Wars Fresh Paint, which I recognize is not the norm. Because these are also fundamentally stressful shows, and I find that lazy producing often lazy producing on some reality shows tends to be you stress the person out until they break, and that's a way that you can like kind of get an emotional reaction out of them. So not that I've heard that on these drag competition shows, thankfully, but it's always that specter. And it's always something that you're aware of when they're looking for real emotion in a contrived situation, which really is the fundamental, what they're looking for with a reality show, reality competition, is they're looking for real emotion. And you will find that the people that deliver real emotion, I kind of think the people on Skin Wars Fresh Paint, my episode, those of us that were most comfortable on camera, that were giving them real emotion, like tended to do better. And I don't think that's a coincidence. There's always that hesitation, that not being sure if this is going to be the right thing, but also really, really wanting it. Also knowing that I was coming into this with certain costuming accolades that I am not aware. There are other people in the drag scene in general that share this many costuming accolades, especially in Philadelphia. I love all my collaborators, but as a king, there are a number of incredible costuming kings, but the space that I occupy as a costuming king, as an FX artist king, is unique. And so kind of being aware that this is something I could bring to the show, and that I could certainly bring, should I be fortunate enough to stay long enough, I could bring a visual presentation that is, people look at it who maybe aren't even aware of drag kings and go, oh yeah, like, okay, this is like Drag Race level. And so actually the next week's episode, I'm really excited for y'all to see, because now, listen, I may not be everyone's flavor, but it was one of the prompts, the horror prompt that I got up and I danced. Like literally, I got the prompt and I'm like, oh, finally. Like when I was describing this, we watched the trailer at my viewing party, and I've never said the phrase horny for horror more than I said it at this viewing party. So again, like Henlo tends to turn a lot of people off. I will tell you that right now. This could be a controversial look, but I'm so proud of it. I think it's incredible. I'm really, it's a really good look. Yeah, so I applied. I actually applied alongside one of my best friends, Cyrus K. Stratton, who I teach the Be a King class in Philadelphia with. And so it was really, and talk about someone who is really unthreatened, and who was the first person to celebrate with me, and the first person to be like, okay, you're in, like, let's do this. Like, what do you need? How can I support you? And Cyrus wound up working on a number of the costumes throughout the package, including the one for next week, as well as helping with organizational stuff and going with me to fittings. And there was a point where I was averaging like 4 fittings a day. So wow. The nice thing is, and again, I think this makes my experience and what I'm bringing a little bit unique, in that in Philadelphia, I learned from a wig maker in Montreal that we have a reputation in Philadelphia for working together. And he said to me, you know, I heard y'all work in teams in Philadelphia. What's that like? And I'm like, you work alone, like in your little silos, like you just pass the stuff off? Like that must be so lonely. What's that like? Because over the last several years, we really have formed regular creative teams. And of course, there's different people that switch in and out. But there is like a group of maybe 20 people that we are able to turn to regularly and be like, okay, it's go time. Clear your month. Like, what do we need? What do we need? How fast can we get this done? Let's have a bunch of really difficult conversations where I say no to you a lot, and we're still friends at the end of it. Right. So yeah, it turned to the team, and they came through in some major ways, including some of my previous clients. The horror episode features work by both Pi and Onyx from Dragula, and when I was able to turn to them and be like, okay, it's my turn. Like, they're like, yes, we love you. So it really has been reciprocal and loving and incredibly warm. And I knew almost half of the kings on the cast before I got there. Alexander actually likes to tell a story where we weren't allowed to talk to each other at first when we were getting in the vans from the hotel. And so my entrance look is any area that is not black is very bright, right? So any amount of dirt that gets on it is going to really show. So I need to sit down, but I'm not going to sit on the sidewalk. So I'm like squatting on the sidewalk, and I see Alexander go by, who I met Alexander when I was a baby king. So of course he doesn't recognize me. And Alexander describes it as, I'm like seeing this like creature, like kind of crouch on the ground looking at me at like, and I don't know what to make of it. So I later got to explain to Alexander that I met him very early in my drag career, and that he's my partner's a huge fan of him, and he was a big influence on me. But like that was not the experience Alexander was having.
I love that.
I love that. That's so good.
I love that. I want to know, because obviously you talked about your experience on Skin Wars Fresh Paint, and like having that experience, having this like extended experience on King of Drag. What do you think is something you found out about yourself while filming the show, whether it be about your drag, whether it be about you outside of drag? Like, what did you figure out about yourself that you didn't know?
I think that a lot of us on the cast came in kind of already at the top of our game, especially in our respective cities, where of course there are other artists who are comparable in skill level in your individual cities. I mean, I mentioned Cyrus, right? So there's at least, there's several incredible people in Philadelphia, at least 20 of them. But so we come in already kind of at the relative top of our games, but I really discovered within myself that growth was still possible. And just by being around other people who were, on this national, international level, in this all stars of the King scene level, I was picking things up from them every single day that I was seeing immediate results in my own practice, and now including in my practice ever since. And I think I came back a different frog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different frog. I love that. So you did talk a little bit about your experience on Skin Wars, but I want to go back a little bit more. Like, how did you actually get into airbrushing and special effects? What's your journey with that?
So I actually started out as an illustrator and comic artist. I have some work out there, but I was never really finding the audience response to the original ideas that I was looking for. Where I've always been kind of in this capacity of, yes, I also work for other people and I do great work for other people, but I'm looking for some kind of response where people see me and see what I'm putting out there, as fucking weird as it is, and respond to it. And I thought I was doing everything right, but I was also a relatively new to being a career creative, and I think people who are new to that scene often come in with a chip in their shoulder, and so I don't think that I was as awesome a person in the illustration comic scene as I am now, and I have the great advantage of coming into the drag scene, kind of already having made a lot of those mistakes over there. So it literally, airbrush and effects work literally came through Skin Wars Fresh Paint, because when I was cast on it, again, there was like the pilot was out, but nothing else. So I went and watched the pilot. I went and watched what seasons of Skin Wars were available. And I said, okay, everybody that does well, they pick up an airbrush at least once. Here's another skill that I have to gain. And so there's a local airbrush artist at the time. I was living in the Poconos, who gave me a workshop and showed me basically the foundational skills that I now teach in my airbrush workshops. Actually, I will be teaching an airbrush workshop at Thrust Fest. I'm one of the headliners of this momentous all king festival that is happening this time in Boston for the first time ever.
Awesome.
And so there are a few like foundational skills working with airbrush that like I build. Everything else I've done is based on these like basic warm-ups. So then with FX makeup, that came when I won Skin Wars Fresh Paint. I said to myself, if you break it down hourly, like makeup and body art pays better than illustration and comic art. And like they've given me the skills, they've given me the publicity. I'm gonna just make a go of it. Let's pivot. I took the winnings, moved to Philadelphia with it. And then made my way as a full-time professional like makeup body artist. Because of my history of disability, FX makeup as well as airbrush was always something that I looked at as that's really nice. Like, I wish I could do that. Too bad, like my life just isn't going to turn out in that way that I'm going to get to learn this really cool thing that I kind of admire from a distance, but have already given up on without even trying it. And so as I was working with the Bearded Ladies Cabaret, already doing body art with them, already doing drag makeup with them, already doing some airbrush work with them, I ran into a production of theirs at Eastern State Penitentiary. And Eastern State Penitentiary has a pretty well-known haunt nationally that's like generally one of the top haunts in the country. At the time, it was known as Terror Behind the Walls. Now it's known as Halloween Nights. I have been working there as a makeup artist for, I want to say, 9 years. I lost count. And I saw what they were doing, and I was like, oh my God, like, here's my in. Like, let me build my portfolio really fast so that they want me. And I went in there, and thankfully, what they were looking for wasn't necessarily that you already had this, and this skill. What they were looking for was like, are you trainable? Do you have like a good attitude? So when your manager gives you notes, you listen to them and you apply them rather than having a fucking meltdown. Like, do you have an innately creative sense so that you can bring something unique to your team? Unfortunately, at that point, I didn't have all of those. Not to say that I always did, but and that has just it's opened up a world for me. I've sculpted my own prosthetics. I've done, I've worked makeup on TV pilots and all kinds of other wild stuff. And then lockdown happened, and it wasn't safe to do body art or makeup art. So I pivoted heavily to airbrush. And that was when I was always a pretty good airbrush artist, but that was when it really took off for me, because it was like, I need something where, my next year of gigs just got canceled completely. And like, I had no mourning period for that. And it's like, what can I do that I can safely work solo in my studio or outside and still make money? Yeah. And that was airbrush work. Costuming, I've done auto painting with airbrush, scenic painting. I've done a bunch of wigs with airbrush, like you name it. So that was when like suddenly everything was clicking, and airbrush was the way, and you can paint anything on anything with airbrush except for satin. So it really it's magical.
Okay.
Satin.
No one looks good in tight satin.
You have to hand paint it, and satin just like sucks up paint. Like it's very frustrating.
And it's horrible to sew. It's just the worst. I hate satin.
Yeah,
but it is so wild that when you said that you started in comics, because when you were telling us the story of how Henlo came up, I imagined it. I was like, this would be a great, like, it sounds like a comic book.
It sounds like a cartoon. It sounds like a cartoon. Like
I literally imagined like the little like the little scenes, I forgot the name of it because I used to do animation.
Sure. The comic.
You know the pre-drawings before you do animation.
The storyboard.
Storyboard. Thank you. That.
Yeah.
I was imagining like in a storyboard kind of thing when you were telling it.
That.
So it just makes sense that's your your origin story kind of.
Right. I'm like the pieces are all coming together. I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you touched on your costume work there, because we've actually talked about a lot of the costumes that you helped contribute to on our podcast, and we didn't even know it. People like Sasha Colby, Sapphira Cristál, Crystal Envy, Pie. So yeah, there's a big list, and I'm sure there's many more. Do you have any favorite looks that you've helped kind of come up with the looks for?
Well, the Sasha Colby look was really special because that was the second time I had collaborated with Diego Montoya's studio, and I kind of talked myself into working at their studio in New York, which is like, it's so cool. And like, people always ask me like, oh, have you met this person? Have you met you made a piece for them? I'm like, that's cool, but like, I want to meet the other artists like making things. Like there's nothing that makes me happier than like going in someone else's studio and looking at all the cool stuff in there and being like, what's this? So it was really special to be able to like actually hang out with Diego and Ricky and while they're working, while I'm working, and like see other people's process. Because in that way that I picked up so much from my fellow castmates, I also picked up a lot from them and from, so many other artists that I've had the pleasure of working in their studios. Of course, I have to mention the flower because recently my premiere look for King of Drag in LA was made by the same team, which was me and Iris Spector and Bear Trap, which that was the three of us that were staying up until extremely unreasonable hours making that thing. I love Pie's orc. The Orc Warrior, that's really special to me. And there was a piece that Onyx didn't get to wear on Dragula that I love, which was the eyeball kaiju. And of course, and Throb Zombie's Priest to Demon UV transformation is really special to me because, like,
I forgot that was you too. Oh my god, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So many great assists. UV is also like one of my special interests. So like Throb comes to me with that, and I'm like, okay, like we have to do a call because I just have so much to tell you. They're recently doing my first Netflix work as an Ager Overdyer, which is costume distressing, was really cool. Where like now I'm working with dyes more. And like instead of like taking a beautiful, perfect gown and be like, okay, like don't let this touch the floor, not a single speck of glitter out of place. Yeah. Like you're like, take a fucking power tool to it, like throw dyes. Like it's cathartic, but then also has to be very precise in its own way. So every time I think I know, everything about a medium, I'm like, surprise, there's so much more to learn. And all of these have like really been special in that way.
I love you are so fascinating. Oh my god.
I'm like,
right?
I'm seriously just like
I could listen to you talk about whatever for I'm just
right. I'm like
go on.
Literally.
So fascinating. Okay. Let's talk about the show. and something that happened on the show that we wanted to get involved
Oh,
with.
now it's time to get real. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know certain things of what
Okay,
what
I'm
what
ready.
yeah what was the idea behind your Jack Black performance? How did that even come about?
Well, so generally, I will say that I do a better job of playing trombone with my feet when there's not a sandwich in the bell to be the mute. But that
Mm-hmm.
is an actual skill that occasionally I will bring out. It is, it is my sense of humor. I will say also, I think we have to acknowledge that everything that we're seeing is a highly edited version. Heard all of
Absolutely.
y'all acknowledge that it's packed, it's jam packed, and I would say that every single performance, all of my castmates had some incredible lines, hilarious moments that weren't included simply out of the needs of the ultimate final production. So there was more of a story to it. There were some more interesting lines. Each of the performances was 3 minutes long. You all saw about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So in a lot of ways, there were things. I was fisting a Nutella jar at one point because what happens if you don't have a knife? You got a knife hand, stick your knife hands in that ickity sticky riggedy goo, and then taking my
See?
Nutella covered fist and making a huge mess.
Okay.
So, so I think that we never. I stand by everything that I did, and we never want to fully blame the edit. I think that it was really funny as it was, and whether everyone fully got what it was based on, I love everyone on the production and I have no issues with how they edited it. So, ultimately, it was my sense of humor, and I know my sense of humor is not everyone's sense of humor. I do want to acknowledge though that, okay, as a makeup artist, I just want to bring something up that I don't necessarily think y'all were aware that we were kind of on the verge of talking about was, as a makeup artist, when I teach my students, we talk a lot about the history of makeup because as a makeup artist, you are in a position of power, especially when you're working on someone else's model. A great example of this is that me as a white person, when I am working on any kind of BIPOC, there is a dynamic there, and I have to be aware of the history of blackface and such, so that I am never making my model uncomfortable or using that position of power to their disadvantage. So when we talk about a likeness, if you take a close look at the makeup that I did, the bone structure is all pretty accurate to Jack Black. However, if you wanted to get a greater likeness, we would then be verging on the question of, do I start to make up my face to look heavier than I am? And that is something that even in the Hollywood makeup and costuming industry, we've really only started to have that conversation in the last 10 to 15 years, if that's appropriate to put on a different weight as a costume. And it was I made a very conscious decision that, I was going to make myself up as Jack Black at the weight that I am.
Absolutely.
And so I just want to, want to acknowledge that, just want to acknowledge that, there was a very conscious decision in that way.
Totally.
I personally appreciate that you said that on this podcast because we get a lot of sometimes makeup artists or people who are doing their own makeup, they don't take that into consideration and they're like, oh, well, I just want to be like this person. And so I feel I have to be exactly like this person. And as somebody who is in the BIPOC community, as somebody who is in the fat community, because I am, we don't appreciate that you feel a need with your little tiny self to say, I want to say I'm big, and so you make your face big, or you want to say I'm appreciating this black person or this Asian person, and you feel the need to do that and then go all blackface on. It's not necessary. It's never necessary. You could portray somebody and still be yourself. We'll understand you're trying to be Diana Ross without putting on blackface. We understand you're trying to be Jack Black without making your face and making your body bigger. We understand who you are without the necessary changes of physical appearance to make it look like that. So I want more people to be more conscious of that because it's not funny. People's race and people's weight is not a costume that you can take on and put on and put off. It's not funny. It's never been funny. So
Absolutely.
Also, I was not
Exactly.
here for that recap. I wouldn't say
me
that I
neither.
appreciated your performance a lot. I'm glad that they have different opinions than me a lot. But
Yeah,
one of
I did
my
too, by
favorite
the way.
one of my favorite drag artists, I feel like you live on the same comedy planet as them, and that's Jimbo.
Yep.
And this like the same level of dumb that Jimbo would do in a performance. So I really enjoyed it personally.
Me too.
Thank you.
See, but
And-
I will say this. I did enjoy everyone's performance is the thing.
Mhm.
So like when I say that, because we did say that we thought that maybe that you could have been in the bottom. It's because first of all,
Oh,
we
let's
saw
be
that edited-
honest. You thought I was at the very bottom. You thought that
I did.
it was the weakest of the
Yes.
cast. Stand
I
by your
did.
decisions. Yeah.
But based on what we saw, if you saw our reaction to what your other part of your performance was that we didn't get to see, and we enjoyed that. So I'm saying that if we had seen the full performance, we would have enjoyed it a lot more. But I still liked it and I still laughed. I still thought it was, I was just like, what am I watching? But I still enjoyed watching it.
And I will say, because I appreciate you acknowledging everything you did, specifically because I am the person that said the comment that you are acknowledging, and I appreciate you saying that as well. As a fat person as well, I really appreciate you bringing that up specifically. In the moment that we filmed that video, I stand by the statement I made in that moment. I did go back and rewatch the episode, and I will say my opinion has changed, and I don't think you should have been in the bottom. But
Well,
that is because I rewatched the episode.
You're absolutely welcome to stand by your convictions. I've had my work really torn apart much more intensely than like this whole thing.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no, of
You've
course.
heard
And
worse
if
by better? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, no. And if
You said that. I didn't say that. You
I
said that.
sure did.
you said that. No, and if I stood by that opinion, I would tell you because that's the person I am. I don't. So I would
Remember what we both
what
said,
it's worth.
Logan?
Then who
For what
was
it's
your
worth.
bottom? Say their name. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, don't do that. Don't
Not on my episode. Not on my episode.
do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But Logan, you do remember that after we said all that we said, we were like, but you know what? I'm happy that Henlo is safe, and I'm happy that Henlo is not in the bottom because I didn't want him to go home.
I
And
didn't want
that's
Henlo
still
home
true.
because I love Henlo. I'm like, I don't care that Henlo's safe. I don't really care. I'm glad that my opinion here is wrong because
Yes.
I didn't want Henlo going anywhere. I don't want any of them going anywhere. That's what it was. I didn't want Luna to go. I didn't want Buck to go. I don't want anyone to go. That's where I'm at because I love the show.
Yeah, I can
It's all in
probably-
good fun.
I can probably
Yeah,
speak
of
for
course it is,
Lana
of course it
and
is.
myself when I say we're really enjoying this.
Enjoying this so much. I love.
Oh
when
no,
this-
I love it.
That's
Oh, I
because
love
David
it.
and Lana love me.
We do. And I know River and Logan do love you, and then I
They do.
know, but I love when somebody's
Maybe.
going against them.
I love when people
I love
come for me with
Absolutely.
reason, when they are right. I love it.
Oh yeah,
And you
no,
are right.
of course.
This
Oh,
is
it's
the
the
best.
collective brain power of the three of us is just like we're all firing on all neurons right now, and then the two of them are just like having the best time watching it. Oh, it's fabulous! I love every bit of it.
I wish I had
love every
popcorn.
bit of it.
I wish I had popcorn. I do.
It's so
Thank you.
good.
I'm a big, strong adult, so I can take it. I think all of us wouldn't have done this, and I feel like you all must have had this conversation with yourselves as you do podcasting and such. Is like, if you can't sit in the discomfort of people having an opinion about your words, about your art and such, maybe consider
This
another line of art. Like,
Do something else.
100%.
Literally
Oh my
anything else.
God. Henlo, you have no idea how many times we have that conversation. It's like we literally have to think about we're putting ourselves out there, and
Yeah.
people might not like what we have to say, and they might come for us.
Yeah.
If we are too sensitive to just pull away, that we just can't take it, then why are we here? So it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do.
that's right.
And ultimately we do this because we love drag.
Yeah.
And we do this because we love the things that we're watching. And it's not just this channel. We run 4 channels here. So it's like we do this because we love what we do across everything we do. And we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't love it and have an appreciation here, at least, for what you all are doing.
Absolutely.
So we can take it, because at the end of the day, we're going to keep coming back and doing this regardless of what other people say. And I feel like that's the same with drag. You're going to keep doing it because you love doing it. And it doesn't matter what other people have to say.
Yes, I'm going to keep doing it no matter how many people say to me, what the fuck was that? At the end of my course? Because that's exactly what I'm going for.
100%. 100%.
What did
That's the reaction you wanted. So
yeah.
perfect.
I just had a waking nightmare.
Right.
I got called a trash goblin on Twitter, and I was like, "Yes, thank you."
Absolutely.
You said clock it.
I never felt so seen.
I'm always going for trash goblin.
Exactly. I'm like,
say such a compliment.
Say whatever you want. Yes, thank you.
I mean, a trash goblin is kind of hot. I'm like, you don't even know how amazing that made me feel right there.
Yes, I live. Henlo, I want to know, from being on the show, because obviously we're loving your journey so far. We're loving everyone's journey on the show so far. We want to know, what do you want the world to know most about both Henlo and Joy from watching King of Drag? A fact,
other than the fact that my services are available for hire.
Period.
But is that I feel very strongly that everyone is welcome in the kingdom. It doesn't matter how you identify. It doesn't matter what your gender identity or who you love is. But I think also it really matters to me for people to know that the things that I am juggling intentionally in terms of being conscious that, like, yes, at 38, I can now do a dip, and I'm obviously extremely proud of that. But like, coming from a place of limited mobility, and that doesn't have to stop you either. Coming from a place of having this kind of background, coming from a place of also like having a perspective that's just like, I don't know that anyone asked for it, but I'm going to give it anyway. In that is available to all of us. And like, I've talked to people, for instance, who really have to do their whole drag performance from a chair. And whether that's a folding chair or a mobility aid or anything, like, and that's a power move. When you have the audience in your hands and you are just sitting down the whole time, that is incredible. That is incredible charisma. There's actually a performer in Philly named Rasta Boy Punani who does a number from a chair that it's a folding chair. It's about 2/3 of the number is him jacking off. But here's the thing, is it is a roller coaster of emotion and storytelling as he is jacking off, where you are just like, what is going to happen next? And like, you know where it's going, but the way he takes you is gripping. It's riveting. And in that way, you can apply that to anything. And anything that you think of as the thing that maybe made you bullied in school, the thing that makes you different in a way that feels uncomfortable, the thing that maybe sets you apart in a way that you don't, you don't have that level of comfort with. These are your superpowers in drag. My limited mobility has made me into a stagecraft master, and I wouldn't be if I could do a fucking split. Or not have to worry about the chronic pain that I'm going to wake up with if I push my body too hard in certain ways that are available to other people. And so the things that set you apart, even in the ways that you're not always comfortable with, really are your superpower in drag. They really are. Because when you're bringing your whole self to drag, you're bringing a completely unique perspective. And no one has your perspective. That's why you're here on this podcast. That's why your listeners are interested in art. Because The Artist Way talks about how often people who are like super passionate about art are often like shadow artists, where they've kind of, in that way that I dismissed airbrush and FX work for myself a long time ago and then came back around to it, have often given up on something before they even started. Or maybe when they were younger, had a friend, an art teacher, a parent, someone tell them like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And like, like, listen, Julia Cameron is clocking you. Just read The Artist's Way. It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
But but in that, like, you don't have to give up on it. It's never too late. And these things that have stopped you before, like, you have an interest in it because you are an inherently creative person, River. And it's the things that set you apart really are your superpowers, especially in drag, and that unique perspective. Really, no one can bring to your art what you can bring to your art, no matter who you are. No one can bring your unique perspective. That's really important to me.
I love that so much. I love it.
I feel very seen too, because like I started doing chalk art in my 30s, and I'm like, I'm really good at this. I just did it on a whim, and people love it. So like, it's never too late to just test what might be good, like what might interest you with art.
Yes.
With art. So I love that.
Yes, exactly. And it's like good art can take any form. Good and so often it's the things that you're like, I'll just try this, and like it clicks. Like airbrush, I did not set out to be an airbrush artist. I didn't set out to be a performer. My parents are/were performers. I was born into a folk music band. I tried to get away from it by being a visual artist, and then wound up ass backwards back on stage. So like, sometimes it's just commit yourself to the bit. When it's working, it's working. Like
absolutely. Henlo, you are just I can't. I am just so in awe and enthralled by listening to everything you have to say, and it is so beautiful to hear, because we need to hear it, and everybody needs to hear. You can just do whatever you want to do, and your art is yours. Whatever is whatever is uniquely you can turn it into art and just do it. And man, you just gave me.
I'm like
life.
inspired. I'm just like, should I start taking dance classes?
I'm literally thinking about the stuff that I've been doing and been thinking about doing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah,
you're never too old to do it.
Yeah.
Like Sapphira said, we just got therapy and joy.
Yeah. We got therapy and joy.
And now you see the family resemblance.
Sure do.
But and like, it doesn't have to be for public consumption. What I do is for public consumption, but a lot of my art is not. Like, I have burned things I've written. I have thousands of pages of different sketchbooks and poems and writings and shit that no one is ever going to see. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, sing in the shower, like, make something delicious, draw with crayons. Like, if it makes you happy in the moment, it's done its job. You can throw it out if you don't want anyone else to see it. It's still made. You still enriched your own life. My dad says music makes life better.
Yes, it does.
And I love to say art makes life better, because like any creative practice, enriching you.
It doesn't make life better. It makes life worth it.
Yeah,
I would say.
Absolutely.
It's worth it. Like, it's everything.
Man, I'm inspired. I can't.
I'm inspired. I am touched. I'm just like, I'm thinking. So my brain is.
I'm gobsmacked.
So many ideas
that I'm just like, I don't even have words. Like,
for us to be kind of speechless is
rare.
Very
rare.
I've been saying a lot that I've been rubbing my dirty little hands on everything lately. Like, I've rubbed my dirty little hands all over the drag scene. I've rubbed my dirty little hands all over that man cave. Let me tell you. Especially like before the final thrust that first time, they let me walk around in the man cave and kind of collect myself, and I touched everything. I made sure to touch everything.
Wow.
So now I've rubbed my dirty little hands all over you. You've been slimed. Henlo reached out a long sweaty claw, and touched each of you personally.
I love it. I'm never showering again.
I'll take it.
And that's drag.
And on that note, I think we should just get out of here, because joy to the world. And his name is Henlo Bullfrog. Thank you for joining us for whatever the hell this was. Subscribe, like, and share on the way out. I'm still speechless. Get your cup mug.
Henlo.
Links down
follow
below.
Henlo on everything.
Follow Henlo.
Oh yes.
Go watch King of Drag for more Henlo. Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Revry.
Follow me. Build me a cult. Is this Henlo Bullfrog at Instagram? That's where my cultists live. I'll make you a
There's 4 more of them here now after this today. On that note, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.